At the dawn of human history, when the world was still fresh and full of promise, God gazed upon the earth and saw something that deeply grieved him. The very people he had lovingly crafted had turned their backs on him. Violence consumed the land, and wickedness swept across the nations like a relentless plague. Every thought and desire rooted in the human heart had turned corrupt. And in that moment, God regretted ever creating mankind. Yet in the midst of this dark and broken world, one man stood out like a beacon of light. His name was Noah, and in God's eyes, he was righteous. Noah walked closely with God, living by his commands even when the world around him followed a different path. God looked upon Noah's faithful heart and through this one man's goodness, chose to offer humanity a second chance. God spoke to Noah and revealed a plan that must have sounded unimaginable. He instructed Noah to build a massive vessel, an ark, unlike anything the world had ever known. This colossal structure would stretch about 450 feet in length, span 75 feet in width, and rise 45 feet high. It would contain 3 full decks, be filled with rooms throughout, and be sealed inside and out with pitch to keep it watertight. But the ark wasn't meant for Noah and his family alone. God commanded Noah to bring aboard 2 of every kind of living creature, male and female, to ensure the survival of life on earth. Of the clean animals, he was instructed to take 7 pairs. Noah would also need to gather enough food to sustain both his family and every creature that would find shelter within this massive floating sanctuary. For years, Noah dedicated himself to this enormous task. Can you even begin to imagine what his neighbors must have thought? Here was a man constructing a gigantic boat far from any ocean, insisting that God was about to flood the entire earth. They likely ridiculed him, labeled him insane, and carried on with their daily lives as if nothing was happening. When the ark was finally finished, God gave Noah the signal. It was time. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives, all stepped inside the massive vessel. Then the animals arrived, entering 2 by 2, along with 7 pairs of the clean animals, exactly as God had commanded. Once everyone was safely aboard, God himself closed the door, sealing them inside. Then, the rain began to fall. For 40 days and 40 nights, torrents of water poured relentlessly from the sky like the world had never witnessed before. The fountains of the great deep burst open, flooding the earth beneath. The flood was so powerful that even the tallest mountains were submerged under about 22.5 feet of water. Every living creature that breathed air and roamed dry land perished, except for those safely sheltered inside the ark. For 150 days, the floodwaters dominated the earth. But God remembered Noah and every living creature with him. He sent a wind to sweep across the earth, and slowly the waters began to retreat. At last, the ark came to rest on the towering mountains of Ararat. After many long months, Noah released a dove to check if the waters had finally receded. The first time, it returned empty-handed. The second time, it came back carrying a fresh olive leaf in its beak, the sign of new life. The third time, the dove didn't return at all, signaling it had found dry land and that it was safe to leave the ark. When Noah and his family finally stepped out of the ark, the very first thing Noah did was build an altar and offer sacrifices to God. The fragrant smoke rose as a pleasing aroma before the Lord, and in response, God made a solemn covenant with Noah and every living creature. He vowed never again to destroy the earth by flood, and as a lasting sign of this eternal promise, God placed his rainbow high in the clouds. If you found this exploration insightful, please subscribe, like, and share this video for more engaging content on biblical narratives and their relevance in our lives today.